The death toll from COVID-19 in Brazil has crossed 40,000 after 1,239 people died in the past 24 hours. In the US, 910 people have died overnight, with the toll nearing 114,000. Meanwhile, Mexico's death toll has risen by 587 to nearly 16,000. Worldwide, the death count has crossed 421,000, while infections are over 7.5 million. Further details in this report.
Countries are forced to choose between human and economic damage of COVID-19 as fears of a second coronavirus outbreak hit global shares. The UN says the economic fallout from the pandemic can plunge to an extra 395 million people into extreme poverty. While Latin America continues to be the virus epicenter, its worst-hit country, Brazil, has reopened shopping malls in all major cities. The island nation of Cuba is looking forward to reopening its borders, but the government announced it will do so in phases.
During the first phase, we will not only restart tourism from the first phase. From the first day we say, it starts from this day. Tourism will open up, but what will open? How will it start? During that first phase, only the internal market will open. In other words, the national tourism, those who live in Cuba.
China has reported 7 new coronavirus cases, including the first instance of a local transmission in Beijing in weeks. Authorities said the other 6 cases were all brought into the country by Chinese citizens arriving from abroad. Meanwhile, South Korea has announced to extend its prevention and sanitation guidelines until daily new infections drop to single digits.
The government has decided to extend the current prevention and sanitation guidelines in the capital area while putting extra quarantine efforts after discussing with local governments in Seoul area.
Over in Australia, the federal government has stepped up pressure on state leaders to reopen internal borders to revive the country's economy. In Indonesia, hundreds of children have died from COVID-19, giving the country one of the world's highest rates of child deaths from the virus.